One last time. If every person who is here to canvass can put their hands in the air, because these are the hands that will decide this election.
Put your hands in the air like you don't care.
These are the hands that will cast votes.
Sorry.
These are the hands that will knock on doors. These are the hands that will call your neighbors. And these are the hands that have brought us to this point of making history in this city. Making history to show that when you focus and fight for working people, you can in fact remake the politics of the place that you call home. And I want to thank every person that's here, because though it is tempting in electoral politics to ascribe an achievement to an individual, it is actually of a collective. And you are all the people who made that collective real. You are the New Yorkers who were with me this morning at 6, and the New Yorkers who are with me this evening at 7. The New Yorkers who have been standing alongside this fight for more than a year. And the reason that the President of the United States of America, the reason that one of the wealthiest men in the world are both trying to get involved at the last minute is that they know we will accomplish everything we have run on.
Assemblyman, in his post, Donald Trump very specifically threatened to withhold federal funds, that it is highly unlikely that I will be contributing federal funds other than the very minimum to New York City. If you are elected, that is a very real threat that you are going to have to deal with. How will you address that after you're elected if you win?
I will address that threat for what it is. It is a threat. It is not the law. And too often we treat everything that comes out of Donald Trump's mouth
Duh,
as
yeah.
if it is already legal just by virtue of who is saying it.
Oh,
And it
Donald
is
Trump
time
says,
to finally stand up to the bullies that make
we're the
these
media,
things,
we don't
not
know
to become
shit.
the bullies ourselves. And we've seen time and time again that the best way to respond to Donald Trump and to defeat these kinds of threats is to actually stand up and fight back. You've seen leaders across this country who have shown their unwillingness to compromise on their own morals and their own values.
Instead of being a
as the way in which
sycophantic
they
member of
fight
the
back.
press.
And too often what we've found in New York City is instead a willingness to capitulate and coordinate. And all of this with the most collaborative mayor you could find for Donald Trump in New York City. Still, the Trump administration was detaining New Yorkers as young as 6. Still, the Trump administration was cutting funding from our schools. Still, the Trump administration was taking $80 million out of our city's budget. And still, the Trump administration was threatening $18 billion in cuts for infrastructure projects. My point here is that even with that collaboration, the threats continue. And so it teaches us all that it's time to actually stand up and name this authoritarian crisis for what it is, and to speak about this funding as not something that Donald Trump is giving us here in New York City. This is something that we are in fact owed in New York City.
Zohran,